Okay, it's another episode of Rails Minute. Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Bostrom, Rails Member Engagement Manager, and I'm here with Deirdre Brennan, Rails Executive Director. This is our efforts to bring you short weekly videos where we can find out more about what is happening with Rails, especially during shelter in place. Deirdre, thanks for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day. Did you do anything fun?
It was a beautiful weekend. My goodness, especially after all the bad weather we've had. I took bike rides and I gardened and I repainted some of my old wicker. It was very relaxing. It was very pleasant. And I didn't get on Zoom once.
That sounds lovely.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so last week we talked about the reopening and delivery survey. So that has now closed, and I know that we're processing the results. Maybe you can just talk about what the next steps are.
Sure. Yes, we are still analyzing the results. We had hundreds of responses, which is great, about 456 in total. Mostly from publics, but really a lot from everybody. I think that, as I think I said previously in Rails Minute, our goal is to be ready when the libraries are ready. And we're seeing that more and more libraries are planning to at least offer curbside service, and they want their materials back and are, contemplating opening the doors to the public as well. So the main, I think the main takeaway is that June 1 to June 15 seem to be the 2-week period that is the most prevalent for libraries wanting to begin to offer curbside service. A lot, 82% say that they will tie their reopening to the governor's plan, which of course makes sense. And so part of our analysis is by region as well. And of course, we're very sensitive to the needs of the consortia in terms of how they can manage their services for libraries when some are open and some are not, and some are getting delivery and some are not. So I think next week everybody will see some communication about when we're going to start the return of materials that are currently in our hubs, and so everybody should stay tuned for that.
Great, thank you. What else is happening around Rails? I know there are a million things probably, but what would you like people to know about?
Well, I guess the first thing that I would like people to know about is that we're having a member update next Thursday, June 4th, from 1 to 3. We will be updating people on topics like delivery, obviously, things related to the pandemic, of course. But I think we'll also hopefully talk about what the future might look like in terms of service in libraries. So I hope people will tune in for that. As always, we have a plethora of online CE and take a look at our deals and discounts pages, etc. But I think I would like also just to remind people that we have together we have built an incredible resource sharing community and network, and that has certainly been strained and will continue to be strained by the pandemic and the undoubtedly long-term effects of the pandemic. But I think we have to continue to take great pride in that and to be just, agile and willing to adapt in order that we can continue to serve our users in the wonderful ways that we have by sharing resources.
Yeah, I think that's a great reminder. So this is the point. Typically, we return to member questions, and if you do have a question, you can either leave a comment on our Facebook or YouTube page, or you can email them to communications@railslibraries.info. We didn't get any questions, mostly because I think it was a Memorial Day holiday, but I did see a great question on one of our email lists, and I thought I would share that. So the question is, how will browsing happen in the future? And is this a thing of the past?
It's such a great question. It really is, because, browsing is by no means limited to libraries, right? I mean, I love to shop. I love to buy shoes. I mean, that's browsing. People browse all the time. I remember when I was a much younger librarian, and we graduated from the card catalog to the online catalog, and people would say to me, library customers, but how can I browse? I used to love looking through the card catalog and then, seeing what was, what the library had. Well, people got over that. And I think that, libraries adapted, right? Which is what I was just talking about in our previous question. So I think that, browsing will change. I think library services in general will change. My neighbor who loves ebooks loves the what's available feature that she can get from from different vendors. I don't think that browsing is going to go away. I think it's an opportunity for us to adapt. Curbside service, which at first seemed not a great way of going about serving the public because it's not something we were used to doing, is now being seen by some library directors as a real opportunity to provide something that's a greater convenience to people. So browsing will change, public service will change, but let's see this as an opportunity to make libraries even greater.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, that will do it for us this week. Thanks everyone, and see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.